Welcome to The Cellar. Glad you're back. I'm Jerry Greenfield, the Wine Whisperer, and today I'd like to talk to you about what wine is and how it's made. And this will be kind of like a foundation for everything that we're going to talk about and do later on with the videos that we'll be presenting to you as we go through the wonderful world of wine. So basically, when you stop to think about it, wine is nothing more than grape juice that has gone bad. It's gotten spoiled because the grapes got crushed, the juice was exposed to the yeast that grows on the skin of the grapes, and fermentation takes place, and we'll talk about that in a second. Benjamin Franklin once said that wine is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy. And I stopped to think about that. Why does yeast grow on the skins of grapes? When you crush a grape and the yeast on the skin gets exposed to the sugar in the grape juice, fermentation takes place. And basically fermentation, to put it really simply, is when yeast, because yeast is alive, yeast eats sugar and turns it into alcohol. That's basically what it is. Now, fermentation is actually a very, very complicated process. We don't really understand fully how it works even today. But by and large, if you go into a supermarket, pick up a bunch of grapes like table grapes, pick up some black ones, some dark grapes, some red grapes, and look on the outside of the grapes, and you will see a white film. That's yeast. When we crush grapes, the yeast acts on the sugar in the juice, and it turns the juice into alcohol, and that's where wine comes from. Now, you can't use just any grape, unfortunately. Think about grapes like apples. We have Granny Smith, we have Golden Delicious, we have Red Delicious, we have Pippins and Macintoshes, we have all different kinds of apples. Some of them are good for juice, some are good for applesauce, some are good for baking, some are good for eating, and there's all different kinds that are good for different kinds of things. Grapes are exactly the same. There's certain grapes that are good to make wine out of, and there's certain grapes that are good for eating or for turning into raisins or whatever else you want to do with them. So basically what we do when we make wine is we grow the grapes in the vineyard, and certain grapes grow in certain places in the world. There's certain areas and certain soils and certain climates that make for good growing conditions for grapes. We grow oranges in Florida, we grow apples in Washington because the climate makes it so. The same thing is true with grapes in various regions around the world. So we grow the grapes. When they're a certain level of ripeness, we harvest them, we bring them into the winery, into the cellar, we crush them, we leave the skins on the juice, we let the fermentation take place. There's a lot more involved than that, of course, which we'll talk about a little bit later on when we talk about winemaking and so forth. And at a certain point, the alcohol level is right, all of the other components of the wine is right. We drain the juice off and we put it in bottles. We take it home, we enjoy it, we share it with our friends, we have it to enhance our food. So basically that's the process. Now that's obviously put in the simplest terms. There are hundreds of different kinds of grapes that we can make wine out of. You won't see all of them on the shelf at your local wine store because a lot of them are very regional, or they don't make enough to distribute internationally, and they stay only where they're made. And there's certain grapes that grow only in certain places, like Pinot Noir, which we'll talk about later. Other grapes you can grow in a lot of different places, like Chardonnay. And then you can make them in all different kinds of styles, which we'll also discuss. There's Chardonnay that's oaked, that's been in a barrel for a long time. There's Chardonnay that never gets aged in a barrel. And there's all different kinds of ways that we can do it. So basically the process is you take this grape juice, you make it go bad by fermentation. You have a lot of decisions along the way about how long to let it ferment, how to age it, how long to age it, and then sooner or later it winds up on the shelf of the store, it winds up on your table where you can use it and enjoy it to enhance your food, to enhance your relationships, and as you become more familiar with it and as you like it more, then you start to want to go to the places where it's made and where it's grown to enjoy it. There's nothing like enjoying a wine where it's made. And I hope to be able to bring all those pleasures and all that information and all that interest and my love for wine to you as we go through these videos. So until next time, I'm Jerry Greenfield, the Wine Whisperer, and here's to you.